In December 2024, the man of God was caught up in a series of visions. As he was sharing one of his visions, he said he's seeing tensions between two Indian countries, and these were his words.
Two Indian groups, there has to be peace between them. I see near the Indian borders, these Indian people, there are disputes, and I see the tensions are rising.
Pakistan says it will regard any attempt by India to limit its water supply as an act of war. Tensions between the two countries are escalating following the killing of 26 people in Indian-administered Kashmir on Tuesday. Indian police say 2 of the 4 gunmen were Pakistani citizens. Pakistan says it had no involvement. Well, Pakistan's defence minister has denied his country was involved in the deadly attacks. He was speaking to our correspondent Azadeh Mashiri in Islamabad.
We are just responding to what India has done in the last 24 hours. We cannot just take it lying down. We have to respond in the same manner, in the same language.
And so, from your perspective, this is still essentially diplomatic tit for tat. There's no escalation yet?
I hope not. But what it looks like that this situation can escalate. There is a possibility of escalation also. I hope not.
But so if that's a possibility, what is Pakistan's military doing to prepare itself for any possible conflict?
We are already prepared. We don't have to prepare ourselves. We are already prepared for any eventuality.
And I want to give you an opportunity to address some of the claims that are being made by India. They are accusing Pakistan of arming or providing financial support to militant groups on Pakistani soil that operate in Kashmir. What is Pakistan's response to this?
We do not have any connection to what is happening in Kashmir. The people of Kashmir are subject to brutal occupation for the last 76 years now. And recently their constitutional status also was taken away from them.
Do you view Pakistan as having any responsibility to contain or monitor any militant groups who may be planning attacks on Pakistani soil?
Let me explain. The infiltration into India from Pakistan side is just impossible.
Why?
Because of the control line. The two armies are there, not in hundreds of thousands. They are there in hundreds of thousands on both sides.
Despite the history of attacks that have taken place in Kashmir, by militant groups that were based on Pakistani soil, they are not active.
They are redundant, and they are like.
What does redundant mean?
Redundant means that they are inactive. They have become extinct.
But do you therefore think that any sort of US bounties that are on anyone's heads, or someone like Hafiz Saeed, you believe that these are just outdated? Is that what you're saying?
They are outdated. They are part of the
US
archives.
should get rid of it.
Yeah, they are part of the archives now.
Indian police have now published notices claiming that 2 Pakistani nationals were involved in this attack. What do you know about it?
We have absolutely no knowledge about it. In the last 48 hours, there was nothing of the sort on the Indian media. But if they have cooked up some story, I'm not aware of it.
The landmark water treaty. Has Pakistan reached out to the World Bank or anyone else for any mediation?
We will reach out to the World Bank, since this treaty was signed in 1960. So it has been a successful treaty for a very long time.
In the aftermath of brutal Pahalgam attack, India suspends Indus Water Treaty, a treaty that has survived 4 wars. Decades of cross-border terrorism against India by Pakistan now faces suspension for the first time.
The Indus Waters Treaty of 1960 will be held in abeyance with immediate effect until Pakistan credibly and irrevocably abjures its support for cross-border terrorism.
So let's dive deeper and understand how this decision will impact Pakistan. But first, what is the Indus Waters Treaty? The IWT was signed in Karachi on September 19 in 1960 following 9 years of negotiations between India and Pakistan. The treaty has 12 articles and 8 annexures from A to H. According to the provisions of the treaty, all waters of the eastern rivers of the Indus system, Satluj, Beas and Ravi, shall be available for the unrestricted use of India. Pakistan shall receive water from the western rivers, that is Indus, Jhelum and Chenab. Now, talking about the significance of the decision to suspend this treaty, P.K. Saxena, former Indian Commissioner for Indus Waters, told the Indian Express this: by suspending the Indus Waters Treaty, India now has a greater control over how it uses the waters of the Indus River system. This means India can stop sharing river flow data with Pakistan. It is no longer bound by treaty rules when building or operating projects on the rivers. India can now build water storage on the western rivers as in Indus, Jhelum and Chenab. Pakistani officials will no longer be allowed to inspect Indian hydro projects in Jammu and Kashmir like Kishan Ganga and Rathal. India can also carry out reservoir flushing at Kishan Ganga Dam to remove silt and improve its lifespan. However, this move won't immediately affect the flow of water to Pakistan. That's because India doesn't yet have the infrastructure to stop or divert the water. Next big question is, can Pakistan trigger any arbitration clause under the IWT in response to India's decision to suspend the treaty? Well, the Indus Waters Treaty lacks an exit clause, meaning neither India nor Pakistan can legally abrogate it unilaterally. The treaty has no end date and any modification requires the consent of both parties. But while the treaty cannot be exited, it does contain a dispute resolution mechanism. Article 9, along with annexures F and G, lays out procedures for raising grievances, first before the Permanent Indus Commission, then a neutral expert, and eventually a forum of arbitrators. Pakistan is yet to issue an official response to India's suspensions of the IWT. Now, you might ask, have India and Pakistan taken any other recent actions over the treaty? Well, the two hydroelectric projects in Jammu and Kashmir have been a bone of contention between India and Pakistan for years now, leading New Delhi to issue a notice in January 2023 to Islamabad seeking the modification of the treaty. This is the first such notice in the more than 6 decades of the treaty's existence. In September 2024, India sent another notice to Pakistan on this matter. In January this year, the neutral expert appointed by the World Bank in 2022 under the terms of the IWT decided that he was competent to adjudicate on the differences between India and Pakistan regarding the design of two hydroelectric projects. Now, during the meetings, Pakistan submitted that the points of difference raised by India did not fall within Part 1 of Annexure F of the treaty.